What's up, YouTube? I'm G Infinite. Today, I'm going to be doing Professor X, also known as Charles Xavier. I'm going to talk a little bit about the newest release to the box set that was released by Hasbro. Of course, there was another Charles Xavier released by Toy Biz, but I want to definitely get into the Hasbro Charles Xavier because there's a little bit of assembling required for this one. So stay tuned. This is the episode on Professor X. All right, guys. So the first Professor X that I want to talk about, it was done by Toy Biz from the Galactus series. This Professor X came in a navy blue suit, and it's just really, really cool. You notice that there he has the Professor X chair. The back of the chair has some actual hooks, so you actually stick him on to the back of the chair so he can stay on the chair, and it's black and silver. So the chair is pretty cool. It has the wheels, has the X symbol for the X-Men, and another thing that you notice is also that there's the setting for the feet on the wheelchair, which is really cool. And he has a couple of buttons here that you might not be able to see unless I move the hand, but it has some type of buttons and a small circle here. One thing that I like about Professor X, real quick, I'm going to take off the helmet and I'll talk about that in a minute. But Professor X, the head sculpt, there you see, obviously, he's bald. He has extreme power. Professor X is one of those figures you just really can't mess with. He has telepathic powers and definitely ways of manipulating the mind. So really cool. I noticed one thing is that most of the time he comes with the helmet. For those of you that don't know or never seen the cartoons in the 90s, it was Cerebro. Every time he put the helmet on, he would be able to telepathically talk to other mutants or track down other mutants if he didn't know where they were. And that was the whole purpose of Cerebro. So he has, I mean, very, very strong telekinesis powers, and he's just a force to be reckoned with inside the X-Men as their leader, and also as he runs the school. So we see here in this figure, you have him in the traditional suit, but Toy Biz decided that they would do another Professor X, and you see him over here. This Professor X is from the movie. Now, the movie version is a little bit different as far as Cerebro, which you see that he has it on there. It's, instead of it being silver and having like that little padding on the sides of Cerebro, it's just more simple. It's just kind of like a half headpiece that you see. And this is from the movie version. The scale is the same as the one from the Galactus series, but like I said, there is a couple of differences in the head sculpt. The head sculpt, very, very similar. This one looks a little bit more realistic. It looks more movie-like. So that's the only thing. And he's sporting, in this one, he's sporting the black suit with the white shirt and silver tie. So that's really, really cool. And of course, they came out with a variant to Professor X, which was also done by Toy Biz. So these are a couple of the different Toy Biz era Professor X that were out. So if you're looking for them, you might be able to still find them. But this is what the movie box looked like. And sorry, it's a little bit dusty, but it does have Professor X here. And this is a variant. So the seat is actually transparent, which I found really cool. And then he comes in a gray suit with a baby blue tie and a white shirt. So for those of you that are looking for it, this right here, these two, the one in the box and in the black suit, are from the movie. And then this one was done by Marvel Legends Toy Biz, which is in the Galactus series. So I believe he came with the Galactus headpiece. So that's something definitely you can look for. But yes, these are the Professor X that were done by Toy Biz or Marvel Legends. All right, guys. Now, you're probably wondering what is going on here. This Professor X comes in the new Hasbro box set. and it comes disassembled, so you have to assemble it. It's rather easy because the pieces actually just go right into place. And I wanted to get into it, and I want to show you real quick how you build it. Obviously, this is the Professor X. Here you have a small hover that goes underneath the chair. Then you have Cerebro, which is really, really cool, this Cerebro, because it actually has, like, in the background, kind of like him showing like that mind power. And then you have paddings for the chair, and you have almost like a brown cloth that he has over his legs when he's sitting on that chair. So I'm gonna go ahead and start assembling it. First off, you're gonna want to grab both pieces here of the chair and put them together. As you can see, that's pretty much it. The chair goes right into place. Then you might want to grab the padding. It's either or. You can grab the first padding for the chair and then put it like this, and in it clicks right in. Then you want to grab the actual padding right there. You see the hole there. You just take this and you put that right into place, and it goes right in. So that's what the chair. Now the chair is halfway assembled. There is a couple of things that we have to do, which one of them is the hover over here. There's a small hole in the bottom, and you're just gonna put it in right there like that. And it's really, really cool because that's pretty much it for the chair. As far as the chair, the only thing is we're missing Charles Xavier. Obviously, we're gonna put Charles Xavier in the chair. I'm gonna try to get him in there as best as possible. And then obviously that is Charles Xavier in the Professor X wheelchair, and we have him here with the Cerebro. I'm not going to put Cerebro on right now, but I will be talking about Cerebro in general and the small cloth that he comes with that goes directly into place. So that goes right there, and there you have Professor X. This Professor X is amazing. I've been waiting for Professor X to come out. If you grew up at watching the 90s cartoon, you guys would understand how important it was to see a Professor X from that era. We got the movie Professor X, but we never got Professor X from the cartoons, which I find really, really cool because the cartoons were really a big success back in the 90s, and they actually talked about everybody's storyline in general. One thing that I noticed about this Professor X, he comes with an additional head sculpt, and I'm going to get into that in a couple of minutes. But talking about this figure in general, Professor X here, you see him. He has the traditional green suit, and he has the tie with a white shirt and a tie with black and baby blue stripes. And then he comes with a cloth that I put over his legs there, but his pants are also green, like that hunter green color. And one thing about his chair, the chair, this is the first time that I seen the chair that comes with a cool accessory, such as the little hover there. It looks like it's hovering, which that is amazing. And it's also really cool what they did with Cerebro. Cerebro here, which is the helmet that he wears to track down other mutants. They did almost like a mind illusion, like coming out when he puts on Cerebro, almost like if he's sending these messages to all these other mutants to try to track him down. And you know it's functioning. And I found that really, really cool because definitely if there's anyone that has the power of the mind to track mutants down, it's Dr. Charles Xavier. So a little bit about this figure. The head sculpt looks really, really good. They did him a little bit more serious because, you know, obviously he looks like he's bringing his A game. Another thing that I noticed that was really cool is the hands. There you see that he has like one hand out and open, but the other hand you notice is with like the two fingers. Usually Charles Xavier would have these two fingers on his mind every time he would track someone down. The first thing you would see in the cartoons is him putting the two fingers on his head, trying to reach mutants, which was really, really cool. Or if, of course, he had to like kind of freeze someone or stop someone from doing something, he would also use that mind power. That's one of the reasons why his former friend, who is Magneto, wears the helmet, so Dr. Charles Xavier can't get in his head. Very, very cool. And I'm going to talk about the wheelchair. The wheelchair, as you saw, the padding in the back is green as well. And then over here on the side of the wheelchair, you can see that it has some type of mechanics, which is pretty cool. And then it has a lot of cool little details in this wheelchair. And if you look on the other side, same thing. It has the small little mechanic there, so you know it's functioning and it's actually hovering. And then, last but not least, we all know that on that chair he had like a control panel. So at first I was like, man, where's the control panels? And the control panels are here. All you do is you take this part and you shift it to the side. You take this part and you shift it to the side, and there you have the control panels. So that is really, really cool. That's one of the ways he actually is able to move the chair, and also if he needs to use it, I guess, for anything else, he has those controls that are functional, that will function well. So very, very cool. Love the figure. This figure came with a really, really crafty chair and a really good look to Charles Xavier as Professor X, and this was done by Hasbro. Now, one last thing that I forgot to mention, and I want to mention because it's very important, he came with a head sculpt. A lot of people might not know what the head sculpt was or who it is. That head sculpt is the Shadow King. Now, Shadow King, if you didn't watch the cartoons in the 90s, you probably wouldn't remember, but Shadow King was he had a Storm under control, and of course Charles Xavier and the X-Men were able to free her from that mind control. So the headpiece that you're looking at here is the headpiece that came in that box set, and that is the Shadow King. Now, the Shadow King, a very cool headset. I wanted to talk to you guys real quick. If you're wondering, whoa, like, how do you have the Shadow King figure? It's not that I have the Shadow King figure. I put the head sculpt on my Kingpin Build-A-Figure, and it fits perfectly. So if you want to switch it up, for those of you that have the Kingpin Build-A-Figure, you can switch up the head sculpt from Kingpin to the Shadow King and pose them up against, a fighting Storm, or whoever of the X-Men you wanna put Shadow King against. I would put Storm with Shadow King because it just fits. The storyline was there, especially in the cartoons in the 90s. So Shadow King, you have Storm, and here you have a well-crafted figure by Hasbro Marvel Legends, and this is the box set on Professor X. So with that being said, guys, I wanna encourage you guys to subscribe, hit that bell for the next notification, and definitely hit us with a like. I'm G Infinite. Peace out, YouTube.